Hey everybody, this is Keith here of Euphoria Pictures. Welcome back to my channel. Right, so I'm a little late to the game with this one. Having said that, I live in Ireland, so I'm always late to the game when it comes to releases like this. But I have it in my hands now, and I felt it was only right to put a video together and take you around my latest pickup that I got for Jaws 2. Now, this is a strange release. I picked this up from Amazon Italy, but when I went to get it on Amazon UK, it was sold out almost instantly. And the reason to why it was sold out instantly was because it was limited to 2,000 copies worldwide. Now, it actually says that on the UK website, limited to 2,000 copies worldwide. Well, if that's the case, why was I able to get this on Amazon Italy? And apparently, this one is limited to 3,000. Now, the only difference between this set and the UK set is you do not get a number on this, where you do get it on the UK set. So, I honestly don't know what's going on, but I'm definitely going to call bullshit on this release, particularly its 3,000 copies, because it's still available on Amazon Italy's website, and yeah, if it was limited to 3,000, I think it would have been gone by now. Well, I'd like to think it would have been gone by now, but if anyone is interested, go on over and do pick up a copy, just in case they do disappear. So I watched this movie last night, and it's been a couple of years now. Well, let's say a couple of years. It's been a long time since I've last seen it, and I do remember enjoying it. It's definitely my favourite sequel of the Jaws movies. But when I watched it a couple of nights ago, I was somewhat underwhelmed by it. I'm not going to lie. It's amazing to think that it has over well, probably what I think it had a budget of around 20 million. Compared to Jaws, the original Jaws, which I think had a budget of around 9. And yet this movie just looked, and it just came across as so much cheaper than the original Jaws movie. Maybe it's because they didn't have the genius that is Steven Spielberg behind it. Everything about it I just found very underwhelming. I didn't like the look of the shark itself. You just didn't see enough of it. Just quick edits, which I find very, very frustrating. The big moment scenes, the big suspenseful scenes, I just didn't find them all that suspenseful. I didn't particularly like a lot of the cast in this as well. A lot of children, even though Keith Gordon does appear in this movie, which I actually quite like him. I know there's a lot of people that are not fans of him out there, but I kind of became a fan of his when I seen him in Christine, and it always stuck with me. Then I checked out Back to School, and yeah, he was in this movie. It wasn't a huge role, but it was great to see him in there. But yes, a lot of the younger cast I just didn't take to, and it was just missing too much. It was just missing way too much. You know, Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw, there are just big misses when it comes to this movie. They made that movie as great as it was. Not taking anything away from Roy Schneider, who is fantastic in this movie, but again, he's not quite the same as he was in the original Jaws movie. And the storyline to this, it just felt a bit more the same. You had the exact same mayor who was in the last movie, and he was trying to warn him about a shark, and of course he didn't listen again in this movie. It's just the same old, and they just brought nothing new to the table. But now, having said that, I still enjoy the movie. It is a good little sequel, but I just wish they put a bit more effort behind it. You can clearly see that it was lacking a lot in almost everything that made Jaws great. It's amazing to think as well, when the movie opened at the box office, it was actually the biggest weekend opener of all time. It opened at 9.8 million. And the most incredible thing about that is Grease opened up the same weekend as this. I came in at number 2, and that was 9 million weekend opener. And if Jaws 2 didn't open that weekend, Grease would have had the biggest weekend opener of all time. So 2 juggernauts came out that weekend, and yeah, Jaws 2 ended up winning it, and it actually went on to gross quite a bit as well. I think it grossed over just a little over 200 million, and even though it only grossed half of what Jaws made, it was still regarded as an absolute box office smash. As for the special features, you're well covered there as well. There's actually a couple of featurettes in there, the making of Jaws 2. You've also got a documentary with Keith Gordon as well. And I think there might be a few additional scenes. Now, I might be wrong with that, so don't take my word for it, but I think there might be. As for the 4K transfer, I honestly don't know what to tell you, folks. I was so pleased with this one. Maybe because my expectations were quite low for it, because I was told by so many people that the transfer was supposed to be poorly received. And I have to tell you, I had no issues whatsoever. I found the picture to be incredibly sharp, amazingly sharp, and it is a considerable leap over the previous Blu-ray. Trust me when I say that. Now, there is a handful of scenes that look very soft, but come on, we are talking about Jaws 2 here. That is to be expected. There is this beautiful light level layer of grain that looks incredibly pleasing to the eye. The HDR colours absolutely steal the show on this one. There's one scene that really sticks out in mind, is the scene where Roy Schneider is standing in the tower, looking out in the ocean, looking for the shark. Just check out a few of them scenes and look how beautiful the ocean looks with them HDR colours. It really is a standout. The contrast is fantastic. The black levels are not as dark and as inky as I would like to see, but I'm okay with that. I was just so pleasantly surprised with the picture on this one, folks, and I honestly think yous are going to have little to complain about. The one thing I will say is, do not stack this up against Jaws. If you do that, I think you're going to be somewhat disappointed, because let's face it, Jaws is probably one of the greatest 4K transfers out there, and it will take something very, very special to beat that movie in terms of picture quality, but take nothing away from this. It does look fantastic, and I think you're going to be very pleased with it. Now, the sound, there's a 2-channel DTS on this. Unfortunately, this is where it starts to get a bit bad. The sound I found to be very, very poor on this one. There was little to no life, no atmosphere, no nothing. There was just nothing to it. The dialogue does sound clean, and it is beautifully centered, and it'd want to be for a 2-channel. But there was a lot of hissing going on in the sound, and it really, really annoyed me in a handful of scenes. There's one scene in it where I think he's talking to the mayor. He's in this, it's this meeting. He meets up with the townspeople, and he's actually showing them the picture of the picture that he has of Jaws, and you can actually hear this big hissing going on in the sound, and then all of a sudden it just stops. And that happened a few times in the movie, and I found it to be unbelievably distracting. Now, I don't understand why the audio didn't get as much attention as the picture quality did, and it does take something away from it, unfortunately. So, you're going to have to brace yourself for this one. The audio is quite disappointing on this one, but it's not terrible. It's by no means terrible. You're just going to walk away from this movie kind of wondering why it didn't sound any better. Right, folks, so there you have it. So let's get on to the unboxing of this, and I'm going to show you everything that's inside it. So yeah, here we go. Right, so here we go, Jaws 2. So I'm going to quickly bring in the J card for you. So like I said, I got this from Amazon Italy. The J card is going to be in Italian, but I'm happy to report that the rest of the set is all in English. That's including the booklet. Right, so on to the release. Now, the first thing I'm going to let you know about this is, it is by no means a strong, rigid box like Universal's last release, Hard Target. It kind of reminds me a bit of the Animal House Deluxe release that we got all those years back. It's kind of in between that release and Hard Target. So it would have been nice to get something a little bit stronger, but it's still quite, I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'm hoping it will be okay. Now, as for the lenticular cover on this one, folks, I'm not going to lie, it doesn't do a whole lot. It doesn't really add an element of depth to the picture. There's little to no movement either. So I'm not quite sure why they bothered with a lenticular on this one, but it still looks rather nice. Right, so onto the spine we go. And as you can see, there's a high gloss finish on that as well. And that continues right around to the back. And as you can see, it says in the bottom there, just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. And then you've got a simple boat there in the background. Yeah, I like it. Quite very, very simplistic, but I like it. So that is the back artwork. Then on the top there, you just got Jaws 2. And then right around to the bottom, there's nothing. That's where the number should have been. If you get the UK release, your number will be there. But yeah, it's not on this one. And this is your contents inside. Right, so let's open it up and have a look. So the first thing we'll see here is... you know what, I'll start with the booklet. So the booklet does have this lovely high gloss feel to it, just like the main cover. And it is something similar to it's actually the exact same as the lenticular. And there you go, you kind of get an idea of it there now. When you look at the lenticular and the booklet here, yeah, there was not much need for the lenticular on it. So this is the booklet anyway. It's just a simple write-up of the movie. I think there's you can see production notes there as well. So I didn't have a chance to actually read this yet, but I need to get around to it very, very soon. But yeah, that is the booklet, nothing on the back of it there. So put that to a side. Then you also get a couple of little postcards here. I'll just quickly show you. Let me see the backs of them first. So you just got Jaws 2 written on the back. So there's only 4 of them here. But they're actually quite nice. So yeah, just going to take you through it. Now that's the scene that I'm talking about when you're watching this on 4K. Just check out that scene. It does look rather beautiful. So there we go. So that is the 4 postcards you get. Then you also get a poster here, which is very, very small. And I think it's a double-sided. I should be able to get into frame okay. So that is one side. And then when you flip it around, there we go. One good bite deserves another. So there we go. That is the double-sided poster. Like I said, very, very small. And onto the steelbook, which I think is the star of the show. I love this. Now, it has a high gloss finish. No embossing or debossing going on with this one. And I like it. I really do. You know, you got Joe's mouth there going the whole way around it. You got that girl right in the middle of it as well. And yeah, it's very effective. And I fell in love with the steelbook the minute I seen it. So, right, I'll take us onto the spine of it. And then right around to the back. And of course, you got the fin there of the actual shark itself. And nothing else going on. So the artwork is a little bit lazy on the back. I'm not going to lie, they could have done a bit more with it. And that is the steelbook in full. Right, so turn it around. Now, this is the one thing you do get in it that is different to the UK release. Now, this is actually all in Italian, but something is telling me it is basically translating the book that you get in this set. I think that's what it might be. Now, I could be wrong, but that's the impression I'm getting. And this is the inside of the actual steelbook itself. So there you have it, folks. That is everything in this release. It is very simple, but I do like it, especially when you consider that it was only €40. So you got the steelbook, you got that poster as well. You also got a couple of postcards. You got a booklet there, kind of the making of the actual movie itself, and the box that it all kind of sits into. So yeah, simple release, but I'm very happy with it. Right, folks, so there you have it. That is Jaws 2, and even though the box does feel somewhat flimsy, I think it's a nice set. You know, you get quite a bit in it. You get a gorgeous looking steelbook. It only cost €40 on Amazon Italy, and like I said at the start of this video, if you are interested, go on over and grab yourself a copy of it. So there you have it, folks. So as per usual, if you did like what you see here, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you could leave a comment down below, and please do share your thoughts on this release, and what did you think of this sequel? Very, very curious to hear your thoughts on this one. And yeah, I hope to see you all again real soon with my next video. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.